This is going to be a really important video if you are a Tesla stock investor. Elon said that would be nice in reply to this post. And there's something that you personally can do to impact Tesla's future. The comment here says, the one criticism I agree with is we really need Elon to at least appear more engaged at Tesla. Then pay the man. How engaged would you be in your job with no current comp package? I have done multiple posts on this. The last milestone of Elon Musk's 2018 compensation package was met in 2022. It is 2024. Elon Musk is not Tesla's indentured servant. There is no current incentive compensation plan. We would pay any other Tesla CEO. That's a really good point. You bring someone else in, you're going to pay them. But Elon, we are not paying. And they would not do as good of a job as Elon Musk. Give him a big, huge goal like making tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of bots, and Tesla's market cap as big as Saudi, Aramco plus Apple combined, and watch him achieve it. I think the best way to set the goals is through market cap. Basically do very similar things that were outlined in the last compensation package, but now just increase all of the thresholds to get that new compensation. Now, Elon Musk does own and hold a lot of Tesla shares, but Amy, I think, makes a pretty good point. And no, holding shares is not incentive enough. Bezos quit, Amazon founder. Bill Gates quit, and he will use that money, Elon, to further huge projects for humanity. So it's not like he's gonna just buy 20 mansions and the world's biggest yacht. He would probably dump a lot of that money into SpaceX to build more starships. Elon Musk has earned the right to show us what else he can do if he is given more capital to deploy. And I think Elon then would certainly pay more attention to Tesla. So I don't think it would be a negative for shareholders in the long term. Because if Elon, let's say, increases the amount of attention that he pays to Tesla by 50%, I think however much he would get paid from that would be worth it to us Tesla stock investors. So what is the board waiting for here? Is the board working on a new compensation package for Elon or not? There were some rumors earlier that the board is working on something, but we haven't heard anything officially from the board. So here's something we can all do. These are Tesla board members, and if you do use X, go on X and tweet at them. Or you can find that post from Elon directly, come to my profile, click on Dylan's post, and you will see it right here, and engage yourself in the conversation. Sawyer gave his take too about this matter. I think Elon Musk should receive a new incentive package from Tesla. It's been 6.5 years since Tesla announced a 10-year CEO Performance Award for Elon, with vesting entirely contingent on achieving market cap and operational milestones that would make Tesla one of the most valuable companies in the world. In order to fully vest, Tesla's market cap had to grow to $650 billion, an increase of almost $600 billion at the time. And important revenue and profitability goals would also have to be achieved. Tesla achieved a $650 billion market cap just 2.5 years after that 2018 incentive plan went into effect. Tesla also went on to hit many of the revenue and EBITDA milestones. I think incentives are important, and like the previous 2018 incentive plan, I think a new one should at least be partly based on market cap milestones, 2 trillion, 5 trillion, 7 trillion, 10 trillion, or whatever the board of directors decides, but it should be ambitious. Elon has previously stated that with extremely good execution, he believes Tesla could achieve a valuation comparable to the combined value of Apple and Saudi Aramco in 5 years. This would result in Tesla's market cap exceeding 4 trillion. I think you should put a milestone of 4 trillion in that compensation package. Another good way to do it perhaps would be to have milestones in $1 trillion market increments. Optimus, robotaxis, next-gen car, Tesla Energy, etc. Tesla has so many big things in the pipeline that could create incredible revenue and earnings growth. Like with the 2018 incentive plan, the new one should give Elon no guaranteed compensation of any kind. No salary, no cash bonuses, and no equity that vests simply by the passage of time. Everything must be performance-based. He will be compensated only if Tesla and all of its shareholders do extremely well. Some may disagree with giving him a new incentive package because he's already so wealthy, in part due to these previous incentive packages. My response to that would be that Elon Musk is the best capital allocator in the world. He does not spend his money on giant yachts, houses, expensive car collections, etc. Most of his net worth is tied in the stock of his own companies. Yeah, I really don't see much downside to giving Elon a new compensation package. If Tesla stock does not go up, he does not make any more money, and therefore you don't lose anything as an investor. This is a huge story. Tesla is reportedly in advanced talks to enter the Indian market and may invest nearly $30 billion over the next 5 years. This may include a direct and immediate investment of $3 billion to produce a new small car from an Indian plant for the wider developing world, and a $10 billion commitment from other partners to support this manufacturing venture, and a cumulative $15 billion in the battery industry ecosystem over a 5-year period, the people added. Tesla first plans to bring a limited number of models to compete in the Indian luxury market while building and testing a charging ecosystem simultaneously. Tesla may also invest in a factory in India to roll out the first small car within 2 years, with the facility completed within 3 years. It's written in a slightly awkward way, but I think it means that the new car would come out in 5 years. Or it could simply mean that they build a factory, parts of it will be finished, which will make it complete enough to start building cars, and then 1 year after these 2 first years, then the facility will be fully completed. Yeah, I think the latter makes a bit more sense to me. But this article does have some weird grammar, so I'm not 100% sure if that's what they actually mean. This factory, with a high degree of local made in India content, may cater partially to the Indian market and substantially focus on exports, the people cited above indicated. I think if you look at this logically, there's still so much room for Tesla stock to go up. Just look at these numbers. Ever wonder why Tesla stock has such low institutional ownership? This is a percentage of float, of Tesla stock float, that's held by institutions. And you can see that Microsoft is at 78%, Google's at 82%, Meta at 85%, and Tesla is only at 54%. Gary gives a list of reasons why he thinks that is. Number 1 is keyman risk. Number 2 is headline risk. Like, for example, in Sweden, with all of these strikes ongoing against Tesla, you are going to receive some negative attention if you perhaps are invested in Tesla stock. Valuation risk, a relatively high PE ratio compared to other companies. Capital reinvestment risk, relative underperformance in the last 3 years. Gary Black explains capital reinvestment risk is using the company's cash in ways that do not maximize shareholder value. Examples would be buying Bitcoin in 2021, which shareholders can buy themselves, or contemplating combining all of Elon's properties, Tesla, SpaceX, Boring, Neuralink, under the Tesla corporate umbrella. And institutions hate conglomerates and would immediately revalue Tesla's multiple lower, bringing down the stock price with it, or issuing new equity. Then Tesla already has $26 billion in cash and is on track to hold $100 billion cash by 2028, according to Gary's estimate. For what it's worth, Tesla's Bitcoin position is now valued at just $184 million, so should no longer be a factor. It's just 5 cents per share. It's a non-factor, really. Now, I don't really think that Elon would put all of his companies under the Tesla's corporate umbrella. I think he's creating this other X holding company, which maybe would own multiple other companies. I mean, it makes sense for him to do that because he would own a lot more of that X holding company than he owns Tesla as a company. So I don't quite think that's a real fear that anyone has, but I do understand the possible worry that some institutions may have about maybe SpaceX and Tesla cooperate a bit too much occasionally. I don't think that's really the case, but they can make a case, when Elon took over X, there were some Tesla employees that helped Elon in the beginning, at least, of that transition. Here's some latest news. More Cybertruck Foundation series all-wheel drive buyers are being given delivery dates, so more VINs are being sent out too. And we are learning more about the Cybertruck. We now know that Cybertruck has a 9% better turning radius than an F-150, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I think in practice, you really feel it. For example, this one time I was driving through this tight spot in a big car, and I was thinking, if I could just have these wheels turn just a tiny little bit more, I would be able to go through this relatively tight space without a lot of extra maneuvering. And the good news is, Elon says we have further improvements in the works to tighten the turning circle significantly. I don't think the improvements will be made over the air with a software update, but actually it could happen. Nick says that he's pretty sure it's currently limited to just 3 degrees, the rear wheels, how much the rear wheels can turn, but he believes it has a full range that's up to 10 degrees. Now, I think the turning radius is definitely already pretty impressive, and it's only going to get better, so the car will feel even smaller despite being huge. There are all of these little things that they just keep finding out about the Cybertruck. Like, for example, there are built-in lights in the front. Doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's pretty useful if you actually use the front. There's a rumor that Cybertrucks are going to arrive in China to be displayed in the stores, but Elon says getting Cybertruck road legal in China would be very difficult, but we can ship some prototypes just for display. James also joined the conversation about Elon Musk's compensation package. I have said in the past that the Tesla board of directors is deserving of some criticism for being unable or unwilling to contain the CEO's destructive and damaging political tweets that have undoubtedly damaged Tesla's reputation and harmed its shareholders. There is no denying this. Tesla does not benefit from its CEO engaging in culture wars and alienating its core customer demographics. It is what it is, and I think the damage is done at this point. I digress. If Elon is to stay as CEO, and I think he should have a proper incentive plan. If the board of directors cannot provide negative deterrence to protect shareholders, and they cannot provide positive incentives to benefit shareholders, just what is the board of directors doing? I think there is a reasonable chance that Elon may become slightly, not by much, but slightly less controversial if he does get a new incentive package plan. There's some news about FSD beta being released in Europe. Seems like realistically the earliest date for that is June of this year. And if not this June, then maybe in the beginning of next year. This is a really profound statement, and I think it makes complete sense. Vision is the most underinvested, highest potential field of AI. Language will never have the bitrate and dimensionality to approximate the universe. Language asks AI to come down to our level versus reaching its greatest potential. And assuming that's true, it seems like Tesla is indeed ahead of the curve with FSD. I just talked about YouTube Tesla censorship, and I also shared some of my YouTube analytics, specifically the demographics. There are some surprising findings in there. The video is exclusively available on Patreon. You may click on the link down below to watch it. By joining my Patreon, you will get access to how much I think it is fair to pay per Tesla share each year between 2023 and 2033. If you sign up for the investor tier of support, you will also get my valuation model of Tesla stock with a 45-minute video walkthrough. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode. Thank you so much for watching.